Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. China-Pakistan relationship has always been under radar. The opponents, including the Western countries and India, always try to develop new conspiracy theories or create malicious campaigns with the objective to undermine China-Pakistan relationship. The most recent theory in this context is Pak-US trade in the mineral sectors. They are portraying that, especially the India and the Western media. So China is losing market in Pakistan. China is losing space in Pakistan. That's why Pakistan is enhancing its trade with the USA. So in this context, it's important to find what is the logic behind this, what is the reason, and what is the purpose of this malicious campaign, and what ground realities tell us, and what are the facts and the figure. In this context, we have to look the matter with the two angles. Number one, why Pakistan is enhancing its trade, especially in the mineral sector with the USA. Number two, what is the rare earth matter control measures are the trade war, especially in the technology and the rare earth metals between China and the USA. First, to find the answer of why Pakistan is enhancing its trade with the USA. It's a part of the broader policy of Pakistan to diversify its economic relationship, to broaden its economic linkages, to find new markets for its product, to build the new trade linkages, not only with the USA but also with all other countries. That's why Pakistan is exploring the markets of West, including European Union, of Africa, Latin America, in the Middle East, and in the Central Asia and the ASEAN. So US is not only one country where Pakistan is exploring the market, are trying to enhance the trade linkages, are building the trade linkages, are economic linkages. Pakistan is exploring all the markets. In the recent month, Pakistan have taken many steps. First of all, Pakistan was trying to improve its ease of doing business environment. For the last few years, we have seen Pakistan have shown the remarkable success in improving its ease of doing business or the business environment. In the numbers, if we look at the rankings or the numbers of indicators, that is a good indicator. Although these are not according to the standard or the required standard to attract the investment, but still Pakistan is trying to improve its ease of doing business or the business environment in Pakistan. Second, Pakistan has enhanced or accelerated its efforts to bring the investment to the Pakistan. For that purpose, Pakistan has created Special Investment Facilitation Council, SIFC. SIFC have the purpose to find the new markets, to motivate the investor to come into the Pakistan, to find the new trade partners or the economic partners, to enhance the reach of Pakistani products, or bring the new industries or the industrial partners to the Pakistan. So SIFC is not only working with the USA, SIFC is working with all the countries. It has created many chapters. One of the most prominent chapters is on the CPEC, which again mitigate the propaganda. So SFC objective is broader to bring more investment from all other countries. And USA is the one of those countries. The second question. So why is the trade war between USA and China? And why China have announced these media measures right now? The trade war is not a new. Even the President Trump, he has built his credentials as a politician by building anti-China rhetoric. Look at his campaign during the first term, before the first election. He was opposing China. He was criticizing China. He was saying that China is responsible for all the ills in USA. And he built his campaign on this, that he will take strong actions against China. Even before President Trump, President Obama came up with a policy of pivot of Asia with a single purpose to contain China. So China is facing this war for the very long time. And if fast forward, if we look into the Biden administration, the Biden administration came up with Chip and the Science Act, specifically designed to target Chinese tech companies, to hinder the development of Chinese tech companies, hindering or to undermine Chinese tech companies. Therefore, the Biden administration was putting barriers or asking American company not to do the business with China, especially in the chip and the semiconductors. They thought it can hinder the progress of Chinese tech company. Again, it is not new, it is a very old. We can quote the example of Huawei. For many years, USA was compelling, not encouraging, compelling its partners not to do any type of business with the Huawei. They were doing everything to undermine Huawei. But that is the other story. The Huawei have become one of the giant company at the global level. Then from Biden administration came to the President Trump administration. So President Trump administration, when he came into the power, he immediately started to announce the tariffs across the board, and China was special target. Again, it was targeting Chinese tech companies. So President Trump was asking the American companies to come out of China, but they could not because China is a huge market. So they were start to impose different types of the bans. The most recent was, even apart from the technology, they also started to target the ship sector in China. They have put the different fee on the ships which was built in China, operated by China. In this context, China was facing this war for the long time. So China have to respond. But China was keeping its cool. China was just hoping so the US will become rational one day and realize that cooperation is better than the confrontation. But the US refused to learn that. As I mentioned already, the President Trump has started to introduce new types of the trade barriers. Even it started to include new sectors like the ship sector. So it was, I think it was give a clear signal to the China that US is not ready to learn. So China have to respond in the kind so the USA can feel the pain or feel the impacts like other countries are feeling the impact of USA trade war or the bans and the sanctions. So China has started to announce the control list. The first control list came in the April 2025, which included the seven rare earth metals. These control measures sent a shock wave across the world. So the tech companies started to wonder what to do next. Why? Because China has the absolute control over the rare earth metals. If you look at the statistics, the 60% mining of the rare earth metals come from China. And the processing capacity China contribute 92% at the global level. And for the heavy metal, the processing capacity that we're making the magnets and other products for semiconductor and chips, it is about 98%. So with the processing capacity of 92% for all the earth metal, and especially for the heavy earth metal with the processing capacity of 98%. So China, in literally world, China control the supply chains. So the tech companies started to wonder what to do next. But USA did not listen and did not want to cooperate. Even China agreed during the recent negotiation with the USA. So China will try to consider the US request. But President Trump started to include the new areas like the ship for the tariffs or the fees or some other things. So China announced the second list of the trade measures, control measures for the rare earth metals, which include additional five rare earth metals. It's important to highlight here there are 17 rare earth metals, and from those, 12 rare earth metals are in the control measures. The conditionalities which China have announced very important because it is the first time such conditionalities has been announced any country other than the US or the European Union, because the USA or the European Union had this habit to come up such conditionality to make sure that the other countries compel the other country come to the term. So the control measure list clearly indicate that any foreign company engaged in Chinese market or work with the Chinese products or the processing technologies or anything related to rare earth metal, they have to take explicit permission from the Chinese government to business with any other country or the country. Second, so the control measure list also prohibit Chinese national to work in the supply chains, rare earth metal supply chains with any other countries without the prior permission of the government. Third, so China also makes sure that those technologies should not be used in the military or the sensitive products. So China is putting these all measures and these are conditionalities for the future business in the rare earth metals. And this is the first time the USA and the Western country have to taste the medicine which they usually prescribe for the other countries. The other question here is this is the reason behind this, the control measure, and the other question is timing. Because many people say that China came up with a control measure due to Pakistan and the US relationship, and China feared that China will lose the space in Pakistani market. So that's why China have come up with these control measures. Therefore, it's important to find the reason what is the logic behind this time. As the trade war and that this war was going on for many years. First, as I mentioned, so it started in the April 2025. The first list came in the 2025, April 2025, not October. October is the second list. So timing, so to tackle the question of the timing. Second, China had the certain shortcomings in the supply chain of some rare earth metals. For example, the processed helium. So one of the rare earth metals China had to import. For example, in 2022, China had to import 95%, 98% of the helium processed products from US and other market. That means that was total dependency of helium rare earth metal market was on the foreign countries. So China could not take the risk to undermine its own development or its own technology sectors. Therefore, China wait. In all those years, China heavily invested on the research and development, developing the technology, developing the mechanisms, and the processing capacity of China. In 2024-5, so China maybe import only 5% of helium or processed helium or the helium products. So that's mean that dependency is over. So China can take the action right now. So this answer tackle the question of timing. It also satisfies that the opponents that should be and must be so that these control measures have nothing to do with Pakistan or Pakistan-US trade. And second thing, important thing is here, China is not losing market in Pakistan. I will answer that China is not losing the space in the Pakistan. I will answer this question a little bit later. But now we have to tackle two things more. So what is the reason behind this allegations or this malicious campaign? And why this campaign was creating some vibes? Other people were accepting it. And what sectors are the what different factors were contributing or providing the fodder to these malicious campaign? If we want to look at the reason, the fundamental reason is that Pakistan's inability to fully capitalize on the opportunities available from China. For example, CPEC. Initially, it was designed that 62 billion will come into the Pakistan. But after 12 years, Pakistan was only able to bring an investment between 25 billion US dollar to 28 billion US dollar. That mean clearly indicates Pakistan was not able to fully exploit the potential. There are many other sectors, agriculture, technology, we can talk about. Only in the defense sector, we were able to exploit the full potential. But in the economic sector and technology, we were not able. That inability to exploit the full potential of economic opportunities make or provide fodder to the malicious campaign. They say, oh, look, if the Pakistan-Chinese relationship is fine, why they are not bringing the 62? There's only $28 billion. Second reason is, if we look at that, the inability to implement the agreed plans or the commitments. Like it was designed that for CPEC, during the first 5 years, Pakistan will be able to create or build the special economic zone, which were necessary to accelerate the industrial cooperation. But look at today, we have only two industrial zones which are in advanced stages. Rest seven are missing. On top of that, Pakistan could not provide them the required business facilitation. Our business environment is quite complicated. Although Pakistan did well in the last few years, Pakistan trying to improve, and definitely there was an improvement in the ranking, but the ground realities are not very different. So they are still problem in the business environment and ease of doing business. So our opponents use these factors to say that Pakistan, China is not performing well. And the fourth most important is our ruling elite. Our ruling elite does not understand the dynamics of China-Pakistan relationship or importance. They are just focused on promoting themselves. For example, every political party is in a race to highlight that they are the champion of China-Pakistan relationship, and all other political parties and the sectors are the actors. They are undermining China-Pakistan relationship. For example, one political party is in the government. They say all is well and they're champion, but the opponent parties, the opposition parties are not helping us, are not contributing. They are anti-China forces. But the same party, when they are in opposition, they say, oh, the government is destroying, government doing this, government doing that, to create the bad image of CPAC. In reality, it's a bad image of CPAC. In their efforts, they think they are creating bad image of the political party, but in reality, that is the bad image of CPAC or the China-Pakistan relationship. So in their pity and trust, they align, they provide the fodder to the opponents to build their malicious campaigns. They don't understand the real dynamics. These four critical indicators contribute towards these malicious campaigns when the which opponents use to build their malicious campaigns. So Pakistan must need to understand, especially the ruling elite, what to do. They must shut their mouth and try to move their hand. It will help them, especially to produce the tangible results. If they are able to produce the tangible results, they would not need to just go for they need to go for the self promotion or the social media activities. People know that who is doing what, so they should keep quiet and moving their hand. And so what is the real purpose of this campaign? Definitely, as mentioned already earlier in my comments, to undermine China-Pakistan relationship. Although the Pak-US relationship in the middle have nothing to do with China rare earth metal competition or control measures. Our Chinese control measures for the rare earth metal have nothing to do with the Pak-US relationship. It is also apparent from the statement of the spokesperson of Foreign Office of China. The spokesperson of Foreign Office of China clearly stated that these are the mislead stories and they have been created themselves, are invented. He used the word of invented. And further, he stated that these stories have been invented to undermine China-Pakistan relationship, but he warned and emphasized that China-Pakistan are the strategic ironclad brothers and the cooperative partners. So nothing can undermine our relationship. So the both countries are in a close consultation. Always they are in a close consultation. So there is nothing to do therefore, there is nothing to do, nothing to do with the Pak-US relationship. The control measures are some other things which China is trying to do. So, but still, the opponents are running these malicious campaigns. Why? I already explained it. So, in the conclusion, viewers, let it very clear: China is not losing space in Pakistan. China and Pakistan are ironclad brother. Rather, they are enhancing, they are expanding their relationship. The most prominent example in the recent days is signing of the joint action plan for the next 5 years. In that action plan, both countries have agreed to expand their relationship into multiple areas and come up with the different programs. Even China also showed a strong commitment to align the CPAC with Udan Pakistan, five corridors, and other initiatives of the Pakistan. Second, China-Pakistan have also signed the second phase of the CPAC, and the CPAC is also expanding. So rather we can say China is gaining more space. So there is a nothing to do, and nothing, there is a nothing we can say the truth. There is no truth in all these speculations of malicious campaign that China is losing space in Pakistan. Rather, China is a gaining space in Pakistan. And it is a reality. China-Pakistan relationship has always been strengthened with the time. We can also quote the example of the recent war between Pakistan and India, where China stood shoulder to shoulder with the Pakistan. So these campaigns or conspiracy theories have no logic, no basis. These are invented, as the Chinese spokesperson said. Thank you so much.